And let that friend, that neighbor know where to go when it's time to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk. And beyond. Come on, baby. Stand tall or not at all. Mama said there'll be days, literally, just like this. Come on, with it. And remember, sounds of soft souls and hits, oldies and beyond. Come on with it. Cowboys could target Jack Jones before the draft, plus this, more and more, more and more. Come on with it. Yup. They really say ain't no party like a cowboy party. But what about a Law Nation's groove? From my studios to yours. 5, 4, 3, 2. Come on. And 1. Come on with it. Yeah. All right. Thank everybody for tuning in. Appreciate everybody for being part of these type of shows. All right. So, of course, the Raiders releasing Jack Jones and they were looking for trade partners and stuff like that. Now, it's not official until Monday, I believe, 3 o'clock when all of the officials goes through. And you can argue and say, well, I would love to have a replacement for Jordan Lewis. You do not want to go into the draft just thinking, okay, I need, right? And we are razor blade thin at DB. Y'all already know the free agent DB that I would love to see on this team in the likes of everything would be my guy. Hold on, let me get to him. Asante Samuel. And let me know if he have been signed or what have you, because last I checked, he was still available. Let me know if he would be a good situation. But for the news of him being released, let me just play this right quick for those who's very close to the Raiders or what have you. This was from a Raiders beat reporter. Here we go.
Raiders trade news from Vincent Bonsignor. According to Bonsignor, the Las Vegas Raiders are trying to trade cornerback Jack Jones. If they are unable to trade Jones, they will end up releasing him tomorrow on Monday. The important things to know here are this. If the Raiders trade or cut Jones, it's going to save them $3.4 million no matter what, and you don't have to eat anything. So this is going to be one of those moves that I think a lot of us kind of projected earlier this offseason that this was going to happen due to some of Jones's struggles and just due to a new regime wanting to come in. Jones was an Antonio Pierce guy, and I think when you think about the way that corners are kind of built in Carroll's structures, they don't really fit that with Jack Jones. I think there's also been a lot of rumors around the Raiders drafting a corner early, maybe a Will Johnson, maybe a Jahdae Barron. Trey Amos is a name that I have been hearing a lot about probably in the last just 48, 72 hours. I did just drop a longer video on the Raiders Sport YouTube channel, so please go check it out. For any more news and updates, make sure you're subscribed, make sure those notifications are turned on.
No doubt. So they're saving about $3.4 million by releasing the Jones, the Jack of the Joneses or what have you. And let me know on a scale. Did y'all hear the audio straight? I forgot to do an audio check. So was the audio clear? Can y'all hear the guy and everything before we click over to what Jack did last season? Let me know in the chat. And for any future references, let me know how y'all feel about the aspect of the Cowboys being, okay, all right, we're moderate, we're not aggressive, We're not even below aggressive. We just a moderate team right now as it relates to this offseason stuff. Clear, good. Can we release Jerry Jones? Jeez. Damn. All right, clear audio, great. All right, so this is what Jack did last season. Now, the stroll up, he is 5'11". He had 3 INTs last season, and he had the 53.9 overall grade, if you into that, right? And I'm talking about PFF. We really don't go by the grades. We go by the tape, and we can look at the tangible numbers like 3 INTs. That is a good thing right there. Some of the things that you have to worry about is that he's a gambler, and he will gamble wrong. And on so you jump certain routes the wrong way. I'm old enough to remember there's a guy that's on this team. They got Jack Jones a few times, and he didn't even get a chance to play. Let me get the camera back on. Let me put the comments back. He didn't even get a chance to play. Who remember that preseason game? And we have a guy by the name of Flournoy on this team. And he burned Jack up a little bit, but neither here nor there. He had 15 missed tackles, which is a lot. He gonna have to work on that. Passer rating when targeted, 115. It's not good, He allowed 12.6 yards per throw, and he allowed 54 receptions, or 54 people caught the ball on him 54 times, right? So you got to look at it from that aspect. But as a slot corner, you got two-way goals. What's his height? He's 5'10", 5'11" ish. Most DBs is about my height, y'all. 5'10", 5'11" ish. You know what I'm saying? Everybody think, "Lord, man, you must be 6'5", 6'6". No, dog, I'm short, man. I'm the shortest person in my family, man. But yeah, it's gonna be most of them about my height if you playing inside the slot right there. You got short area quickness. But yeah. So Jack Jones or Kalen Carson's. Give me Jones, man. Give me Jack in there, man. Yeah. Flournoy was cooking Jack. Yeah, no lie. And then how Trey was throwing that ball. Trey was just dropping back, and you thought Joe Milton got a strong arm. Trey was trying to kill Ryan Flournoy, wasn't he? Or Jack, or whoever was going to try to catch that ball. Yeah. I like Elam, but got to get dips at corner. Yeah, so for references, this is what I believe. Yeah. This is what Jordan Lewis did. And he's 5'10", 195. I'm taller than Jordan Lewis, by the way. But all right, so here it is. He's 71.7 overall. If you want to go with grades, in run defense, they got him at 45, which he fell in there. If you want to use the grades, but overall, he had 1 INT last season, 52 solos. He had 11 missed tackles, and his passer rating when targeted was 99, a little bit better than what we've seen out of Jack, and 5 PBUs. I think Jack had double-digit PBUs. So it's looking like, far as trait-wise, these guys are kind of like similar. Not the same, but similar. We got a super chat from Brandy. Appreciate you. She states, "It sucks we can't trade GMs during the draft." Damn. You better be careful which one you get to, though. Better be careful, Yeah. For Jerry, for 30 years, 30 seasons, he's been the GM. Is Donovan Wilson worth the money? I think that in this system, you may see a little bit difference of a play from Dono. But here's the trueness of it. You have no sponsors in the building, so we could probably get a chance in a scenario to see Izzy at slot, and he's 6'3", 6'4", so you get the height that people looking for. Yeah. Comparing him to Jay Lou isn't bad. I mean, they about the same. Here's another guy that you may want to consider, and he's a little feisty. His name is Mike Hilton. He's 5'9", 184, 185, but he's a longer in the tooth. He's 30, right? 31, and he can do some good run stuff, right? They got him at 91.7 if you go by grades. Remember, I don't go by grades, but he had 1 INT, 63 solo tackles, 47 receptions. Passer rating allowed was 105, but he had only 6 missed tackles. I think that out of all of the guys that's available, Mike Hilton, he will be your better guy that's inside. He's a physical. He come down, hit and field. He's not going to miss his tackles. So I think that could be a situation and scenario. Hold tight for me. I got a phone call. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to take this phone call. Hold tight for me. All right. I'm back. There was a quick Rose credit. I need me a pause static screen. Like, we'll be right back after these commercial breaks. I should have went to the commercial. That's what I should have went to. But that was good conversation piece. We'll be at the meeting at 5:00. But yeah, somebody said buyers beware. Of the Jack Jones deal. I would say this with the Cowboys is always the element of the unknown. Slot competition. Yeah, I love the DBs that we can find in the draft, but when we look at and do our due diligence and this homework here, let me go to the screen here. And these are the available DBs that's out there. And just for sakes, I'm gonna go with the oldest to the youngest here. Appreciate you for your support, Calvin. Thank you so much. Let's go.
Calvin Richard, $5. How do we go from 12-5 for 3 seasons in a row now to a team with so many holes to fill?
Ooh, that's a loaded $5 question, bro. Yeah, I appreciate it. A regular season record doesn't tell the entirety of the story. If I can say it that way, a regular season record doesn't tell the entirety of the story. I think that the first year we went 12-5, we was coming off of a historically crazy season, right? It was like basically, I think we finished 3rd place, so we had 3rd place schedule that year, or we could have finished dead last. We had dead last schedule that year, but I think it was 3rd place. So we drafted Michael Parsons. We had a new coach, and the new coach on the defensive side was a guy that utilized and used some of the pieces that we had. Now, we never really replenished nor replaced our pieces. So that shows you how good this team was technically in 2022. Because what you wanted to do from 2021, if you're going to get rid of your star-studded wide receiver that's on the other side of your other developing wide receiver, then you better have a plan and action, but the Cowboys didn't. So when you look at from 12-5, 12-5, 12-5, technically you got to look at the complete picture. What resources were we losing, and did we replenish? Even with Ezekiel Elliott, when we lost Ezekiel Elliott, Did we do the proper move to replace his 12 touchdowns that was lost, right? So we got to quantify all of those things. So good teams have good depths.
Darren Posey, $5. Law, how did we go from using Gillette to Atlas and Johnson to Mondo? Just asking for the chat.
Wow. Law, how did we go from using Gillette to Atlas and to Johnson to Mando? Mando. Now, that's another good loaded question. But to get back to the other part of it, is that when you go 12-5, and then all of a sudden pieces start to break down and you don't have the ability to go back 12-5, it's due to the fact that you didn't do proper replacement. You got to replenish and replace, right? And the Cowboys never did that, so we were a very top-heavy team, meaning that we are a team, if as long as your star-studded players are healthy, you can win games. But your bench and the people that you get off of the lineups there on the backup situation, if they ain't any good, they ain't any good. And that's what we saw out of that year. And I think that what happened ultimately, Dan Quinn, the one that knew that we had a certain amount of resources, he took them away from us, right? So on our defensive side, we seen a lot of injuries, right? And some pieces of our offense, we saw some injuries, and then you lose out on your starting quarterback. Yeah, so that's what makes you get out of the postseason. And that's for most teams, by the way. Yeah, so no backup pieces, no team, no maintenance. Yeah, and somebody going to say still, hey, excuses, man, those are just excuses. Well, asking for the same job to get done when I got the shovel and you got the spoon, it's going to be harder for you to do it. But the expectations for the person with the spoon is the same for the person with the shovel, is what the Cowboys go through every year. Every year we have the exact same expectations to win the Super Bowl. No other team is blessed with this, ability to say, hey, we want them to win the Super Bowl. The Eagles, they are left off the hook after winning the Super Bowl. There's no added pressure. Can you run it back? Can you do it again, right? The Chiefs, they won the Super Bowl the year before. They are allowed to lose, right? And everyone else, people make valid arguments for them. The Bills, hey, they just need another wide receiver. Oh, the Bills, can they improve their defense? Maybe they have another shot at it for Josh Allen, right? Trey Lawrence, he's getting paid $250 million. Oh, let's just do it this way. Let's give him more and more weapons, more and more pieces. Let's not criticize him, though. He's still learning. So that's just how it goes. Yeah. Yeah, superb weapons. I feel you. Yeah, so we need all of those things. Expecting Dallas to remain average. Yeah, Johnny. Those expectations, I wish the national media would bestow upon us, but they don't. They expect us to be elite, regardless of the situation. They can have me out there coaching this team, and they would still have the same levels of expectations. Law, do you have any truth to that? Well, look at Dave Campo. Look at Chan Gailey. The expectations still stayed the same. Look at Jason Garrett. I'm not saying that I'm a better coach than good old Coach Red, but I'm telling you, the expectations are the same. And to be 1,000 with y'all, me and Coach Jason Garrett can interview for the same job and we both get the same answer. The answer will be no. Oh, and I probably can go a little bit further. Me and Mike McCarthy can interview for the same job and the answer will probably still be the same. No. Let me know if I'm lying. Jeez. I'm telling y'all the truth, right? Nobody was busting their necks and jumping over hills and mountains and valleys to say, hey, let me go get that 12-5 head coach. Mike McCarthy. If he were worth the grain of salt, then they would have been out there knocking on some doors. He would have at least been as an offensive coordinator or something, right? Somebody to hold the scorecard or something. He couldn't get a job. Yeah, so me and him, we both go for the same job, and we'll be both on the sidelines talking about, hey, Dave Campo. Yeah, Dave Campo, my guy too, man. Shout out to Dave Campo. Somebody said, "No, you lied." Well, what job did they get? Let me know. All right. So with that being said, the Cowboys, here's what we want to do when we do get into these graces. We don't want to draft at 12 again. And that is what Shotty said earlier last week. Yeah. Hold on. Let me put it up here real quick.
Pick 12th again, but you're looking for guys that influence the game. You rush the quarterback and you get sacks. You score touchdowns. You build it from the outside in. So you got corners, receivers, they get isolated one-on-one. Pass rushers, tackles, because when you're isolated and you can't help, it's a pretty daunting task sometimes. Like, we don't want to ever pick 12.
So I know we went over this multiple times, right? For your mind, we went over this multiple times. And one of the things that I can say here is I agree. I agree with Shotty. I agree with his stance and his statement on we don't want to draft here again unless we find a fool to trade something and then give us a 12th round draft pick or something like that. That will work.
But you're looking for guys that influence the game. You rush the quarterback.
Did you say rush the quarterback? Okay, all right, I got it right here. All right, so this is Mike Green, man. I think he can rush the quarterback. I think he is explosive. I think that he could warrant with the 12th pick of the NFL draft. Who's mad right now? Who's mad at that?
Are you shitting me?
Who's mad at if the fact that the Cowboys would do this?
Oh my goodness!
Where you at? Yeah. Who would be mad at the Cowboys drafting with a top 15 pick and they're utilizing and using that for an edge rusher, knowing that you already got Micah Parsons and you already got a Marshawn Nealon who you spent a second-round draft pick just the year before. You got a Sam Williams who you invested a second-round draft pick in many years back. Oh, and on top of that, you still got Dante Fowler, right? And who else I'm missing? I'm leaving out someone, Tyrus Wheat, and who else? Who else are we missing out on that edge? Is Carl Lawson here? Yeah. There's a statement or a saying that you can't have too many pass rushers, though. But if he is the BPA, best player available, and he's there with you, mind scooping him up. Yeah. Oh, Peyton Turner, that's the other guy. Yeah, Peyton Turner. Man, Peyton, you better do something this offseason. If not, well, we call them Ubers and we doing those, what do you call it, door dashing and stuff like that. We might see you in the car. You're like, hey, wait a minute. Didn't you used to play for the Cowboys and the Saints? So you better do something, Peyton Turner. Yeah. Solomon Thomas plays both. This is from my guy, Todd Church. I want Solomon more inside though, not too much on the edge. It looks good in college, yeah. They do look good. Now this is against Ohio State, I believe. Yeah. So that's against Ohio State. So we will see how that works and move around. All right. So earlier today, there was a mock draft on my morning video. We talked about the mock draft, and boy, when you talking about falling off of a cliff, let's get back to this mock draft, man. And this was crazy because I could see them scroll all the way down to where they come to us over here. We got a super chat. Hold on with it. Jalen Walker, number 9. Come on with it.
Too cool, $9.99. Loss. Sometimes I think the coach hire was the problem. Think how many other coaches would have take multiple years of going 12-5 to higher heights.
Hold on. Let me read with the context of what you're putting out there. sometimes I think the coach hire was the problem. Think how many other coaches would have taken multiple years to going 12-5 to higher heights. Yeah, because those 5 games that we did see, we had no damn business losing some of those games. And some games we had no reason to win, too. But to that point, 12-5, 12-5, 12-5, would a different coach would have been able to maximize that, basically, with what you're saying. From the outside looking in, there were a lot of things going on that you would have to be a Cowboys, fan to understand, right? Because it wasn't peaches and creams. We knew 12-5, the first 12-5, we were an undisciplined team. You had mix of philosophies. Mike McCarthy fighting, dare I say, or still trying to develop a guy that's now a Super Bowl winning coordinator out of Kellen Moore, right? He was trying to tell him, this is what I need for you to do. This is what I need for you not to do. This is what I like, and this is what we need to change, right? So the political reason, the political power within the confines of that was rocky, because oil and water don't mix, right? And then the second season in 2022, it was under the impression that, hey, you call it, you install it. So now we got a war within a war, right? But from the outside, people looking at it like, hey, it's 12-5. It's 12-5. Right? Fresh paint on a house can probably get it to be sold quickly until the inspector comes over. And he says, man, your foundation is terrible. But fresh paint, when you're driving by, it will get the attention. And that's what the Cowboys did. We never fixed the foundation, and we won just by chance. It's equivalent to someone cheating on the test, right? But now all of a sudden the teacher called them up to the board and say, show me your work. And they freeze because the person that they cheated on the test with, it can't help them in that spot. So when you go to the postseason, it's time to show your work. You got to battle the war of attrition. You got to make sure that your plays have a purpose and a reason why. You just can't be running the ball for a quarter when you get to the postseason. Yeah, impact. Yeah. So that's just for what it is. Yeah. So run with a purpose. And that's why I wish I'm gonna have to start walking around with a private camera on me, man, so y'all can hear some of the details of the conversations that I had with the guy that's going to be most likely calling the plays or importing some of the plays. Right. But then that would be kind of like TMZ law, No, I wouldn't do that to that guy. But yeah, y'all got to give it what I'm saying. If only I can have y'all in the space where I'm at. I might have to still do that. I might have to consider that one of these days. I think that only in the state of California, you got to let people know you're recording them out in public, right? Everywhere else is free game, right? If you're out in public, in a public location, you can record folks, right? Come on with it. Yeah. TMZ law is on his way then, But he literally said, what my guy Scott Walker was preaching on his channel when he did the morning show, dribbling with a purpose, right? And I literally talked to Steve Shemko about, hey, when we get these plays in, will you guys be running with a purpose, right? Running for a real reason to get that safety, to be down inside, right? To be on the foreside, right? So all of that spy law, yeah. Come on with it. I'll be the spy, Yeah. I got one more bucket list left, Jerry, Where that yacht action at? Come on with it, Yeah, but no Diddy though. No Diddy in over here on Law. Yeah. Yeah, so that's just how I'm looking at it. But neither here nor there. Appreciate you for your super chat, too cool. All right, so this draft, I'm telling y'all, is going to be very exciting because I know for sure how my brother feels about his team, right? I know how he feels. That joker took a whole sabbatical, right? A whole year off after losing that Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Shoot. And then it's crazy because my other brother is an Eagles fan, and now he's all in my group chat over here talking all type of crazy stuff to us. But that's a whole nother conversation. All right, so they got Will Campbell, right? And we got Tet. Put TET in the chat if you want Tet for the 12th pick. If you love to see Tet with a Cowboys silver and blue star on the side of the helmet type of conversation, let me know. Yeah. Dak didn't get us off the hook. Don't trip. He played poorly in 2021, in 2022, in 2023 the playoff game. I get what you're saying. All right, so Aztec, let me know who played good then. Yeah. Let me know who on the offense played good. All right, so we know he played bad in the postseason. So who played good? All right, so Eddie McCoy says Tet. All right, Leroy says Tet. Logan says Tet. Robert says Tet. T-Mac, too cool, says T-Mac. Tet. A lot of BPAs, okay? So with this draft, what they did on the NFL .com or what have you, they got us going with Tet. And this says this right here, waiting until round 2 to get their new star running back. McMillan wins with size, foot quickness. He do have foot quickness in short areas, making him a nice target over the middle. And also in the red zone. This is their write-up on Tet. Now, granted, there are certain places on the field that you want to aggressively attack, and that is the middle of the field. But, man, back in the days, that's where you go in, and then you may check out for another couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, going across that middle, that's where the safeties and the linebackers say, come on down here. Come on, talk to me. But to make a longer story short, I like CeeDee Lamb in that space too. I think that there's no spot on the field where CeeDee Lamb can't be at. But when you are the only shining star, right? That's where everybody is going to be guided that way. And that's how CeeDee Lamb been looking. They waved off Brandon Cooks. They giggled and laughed at Jalen Tolbert. Shit. That Jalen Tolbert, man, we'll just let him be on the one-on-ones, right? Jalen Brooks, they didn't have to do anything. He was slipping and sliding, So that's what he was doing out there on the field. Kevontae Turpin, we would use Kevontae Turpin one time, and they be like, shoot, they be sweating. Teams be like, dang, that kid is fast. And then we never see him again, right? Until like 2-3 weeks later, he's like a comic, the fallen star, Yes, indeed. And people will look and stop and look at the comment, right? And say, oh, look how nice that is. Not knowing that thing is on a downward spiral. Wherever it's going, it's finna destroy itself and whatever it's going to hit. It's never a good thing to see a falling star, by the way. That's galaxies or that's something that's about to be an impact in a wrong way, right? But that's what we seen out of Kevontae Turpin. The usage of him was like a comic. Shout out to you too, cool. He states here, cool on Golden. He is the one-hit wonder. T-Mac is the best pure wide receiver in the draft, even over Hunter. Hunter don't go both ways. Let the debate begin. I think Travis Hunter, for what he's able to do in college, phenomenal, right? To be able to play on both sides of the field. That's over 50 snaps in a game that he's doing and putting into his body. 70 to 80 snaps a game. That's crazy. On an NFL level, people are faster, bigger, stronger, and they look at film. They look at tendencies. That's all they do. They will look at tendencies, and they'll make you play left-handed when you're right. So we'll see how he will perform on the next level. And just like I said, all of those things, and I appreciate you for your super chat, Hunter will be able to only focus in on football. So and his fiance, he'll be able to focus and stay level-headed. And a year from now, y'all see him put on 10 to 15 pounds of muscles, and y'all see him more in tune with his mindset and his frame. He probably be He'd probably be good. He'd probably be the best prospect in the last 5 or 6 years. But the team he go to going to have to play a major role with that. If I don't care who you are. If you go into Cleveland, it's just something in the water over there. You may appear to be good for a year, but then something in the water over there in Cleveland. And no offense to people that live in Cleveland, Ohio, but it's just something about that team. And somebody can be saying the same thing about Cowboys, right? It's something in the Cowboys' water, But, man, it's something terrible over there in Cleveland. And I don't know who's going to go get drafted to Cleveland. Too Cool says QB plays matter. The man played at Arizona, and he's able to generate those numbers. So, yeah, I'm not going to fight you over Tet or whether or not he's validated or not. But I think that plays a role, too, on what team Tet goes to. If Tet end up falling to, let's say he goes to the Jets, that's a mad move, because the Jets can get any wide receiver they want, but if they don't have the QB, whether it's a Aaron Rodgers or Zach Wilson, that player's not going to show up if they don't have the right QB, right? So, and I forgot who's the Jets quarterback now. We still haven't seen the fullness of Garrett Wilson. Can y'all imagine Garrett Wilson in this Cowboy system? Woo-wee, But if Tet goes there, or even if he goes to the Raiders, the Dolphins, if he goes to the Cowboys, he's going to shine a little bit. I'm just telling y'all how it goes. But neither here nor there. Let's go to our second selection on this particular situation. The NFL.com got the Cowboys rocking and rolling with TreVeyon Henderson. I'm crying a little bit because Trey Amos gone, but Henderson with the 44th pick. Put 44 in the chat if you like Henderson. Let me know. Yeah. Harold Edwards says, check out Caleb Johnson. Yeah, from Iowa. Yeah, he's a good power back and physical guy. I've checked him out already. Really good. But I wouldn't want him with the 44th pick, Yeah. Quinshon Judkins, get him over Henderson. Mm-hmm. All right. Put 4-4 in the chat if you don't mind having TreVeyon Henderson. And now here's the caveat for him. Believe it or not, he is literally a good back. Injuries is part of the problems with him. But in a pinch, if you have Henderson on your team and the ability to utilize him, he will be, dare I say, more of a polished version of a Tony Pollard, right? Who remember Tony Pollard, right? And I'm only saying that because of the run style that they do. They can catch out of the backfield, flip hips, and get upfield and do tremendous things in a good way. Blue states, if Tet is gone, do we pull the trigger on Hampton? Appreciate you for the super chat. Here's my thoughts with Omarion Hampton. I think that he's probably one of your better backs in this draft. Some got him as their RB1, right? That nobody is better than him. They got him as their RB1. Now, to me, he's my RB2. I like what I've seen out of Ashton Genty. I think Genty will be able to bring us plenty. But in that same breath, I get it. If the Cowboys feel as if, though, that this pick right here is their go-to guy, meaning that they wouldn't deal with anybody else, and they know that Omarion can solidify their areas of need, I can't dog them for it. I will commend them for going out there and grabbing somebody that can fit their philosophy, their system, and their wants out of this situation. I would not be mad at all, as long as they have a plan of action with Omarion. But if they are weeble wobbling around and they are saying, okay, since we left out on Tet, since we left out and Golden is gone, and since there's no Ashton Genty, let's just for the sake of picking up this, then I wouldn't do that. But to be fair to all of this, let me go to what these guys said about Travion Henderson. Hold on, wait, let me find it right quick. Boom.
Travion Henderson, man, he's going early. Like, he might go first round early. Speed, explosiveness, and you want to know what scouts freaking love about this guy? The blocking. Mm-hmm. And the same thing, I was talking to a director of personnel today, and he was like, the blocking. And I was like, just like Zeke, he's like, exactly. He's like, you know what you're getting. You keep him on the field every single play. He doesn't have to come off the field. You see that speed and the way he cuts. And everyone I talk to, it's the same thing. Going to be a better NFL player than a college player in terms of production and consistency. His best football, he's like kind of getting ready to peak. And teams recognize it. Henderson could be RB2, and there's some buzz like, I don't know, he's getting out of round one. Travion Henderson.
Wow. And that's a reigning endorsement for Travion Henderson. Did you guys receive that? Yeah. Did you guys receive that? Let me know in the chat. Are you guys, did you saw how he blocked that Smooth? Smooth tried to shoot through that gap. And he said, yeah. Laid him out like Family Guy. Seems today that all you see is violence in movies and sex on TV.
Like, he might
Why did I lay the guy out like Family Guy?
Speed, explosiveness, and you want to know what scouts freaking love about this guy?
The blocking. Watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the same thing.
He hit it right here. Boy, watch this. I'm on the pre-snake. Watch how you knock this guy up out of there.
I was talking to a...
Hey! Oh, yeah, baby. Now, Tony never blocked like that, but God, watch how he fall. He gonna Peter roll. Yeah! Oh, my gosh. He told him,
I got nothing but love.
Got nothing but love for you, baby.
Got nothing but love for you, baby.
That boy got blocked into a teabag situation.
Nothing but love for you, baby.
Oh my gosh.
Got nothing but love. Are you shitting me?
personnel.
Look at that. That boy got blocked into a bad situation, y'all. Oh, Lord.
Like the blocking. And I was like, just like Zeke, he's like, exactly.
I like that he is fundamentally sound on blocking, though. I do love that aspect of it. Yes, indeed. Some people say they like, Joe says he liked Travion way better than Judkins. My thing is with Judkins is, okay, my Mississippi guy, he was brought in because of the aspect of Travion couldn't stay healthy out there on the field. But if we have a plan of action, and if we get Quinshawn Judkins, who will be like a slight less degree version of a Derrick Henry, I would take it, man. Shoot, I'll work with him, because at the end of the day, there's no crystal ball. If people knew what Derrick Henry would become, would he been drafted in the first round or not? Right? If you knew like Derrick Henry would be Derrick Henry, then you would have said, you know what, I'm getting him in the first round, right? And I know you can't put toothpaste back into the tube. It's messy if you try to do that. So somebody in this second round is going to be a version of a Derrick Henry, and people will be like, damn, I knew I saw what I seen on that tape. I knew I saw what I saw. But I went away from it, right? Like if you knew, like I know y'all knew, that DK Metcalf he was there when it was time for us to draft him. But by us going with needs, we said, nah, we don't need a DK Metcalf. We need a Tristan Hill. Right? But it'd be a no-brainer for y'all to say, you know what? This is just how the draft board fell to us. I know we spent money, coins, and all of the other resources on Amari Cooper. But you know what? I'm finna still draft BPA. And at this point, I got DK Metcalf higher on my board than a Tristan Hill. But hey, we need interior defensive tackle. So what? I know this man can run. He can run, take top off defense. So that's a prime example of catering to your need versus your want and all of this stuff. Just get the BPA. Shout out to you, Aunt. You sir clap a lot. It's funny. It is funny, But you just go with the best player. Like sometimes you will look at productions, right? And people will look at skill sets and heights and all of this stuff. Bump all of that. What do your eyes say? TJ Watt, the reason why they didn't want to draft him, because he got short arms. Taco have long arms, reach all around the world. Can't get the sack, though, with that reach. But that TJ is still, with them short arms, is able to get damn near 20 sacks a game. 20 sacks a season, I meant to say, when healthy. 2 sacks a game, by the way. So, I don't give a dog. He played 3-4, 4-3, 4-2-5. It doesn't matter, man. Shoot. Give me the guy that I know for sure. Burst, quickness, get around, can win, and make plays. Look, that's why I can't wait we got, less than 20 days before the draft is over with. And we'll be able to get somebody that can make an impact on this team, whether they're big or small or what have you. We want impactful players. Ain't this right, ladies and gentlemen? And the Cowboys can't be looking at measurables. Can he ball? Can he play? That's what we're looking for. And speaking of that, this still my RB1. I'm gonna play it right quick.
I compared you to Emmitt Smith. When I was looking at your tape, the same size. You're 5'9". You're not going to be 5'11". You're not going to be 6'1". And you have the most unique stance I have ever seen. Now, you got to come clean with me. Why are you so standing like straight up? Are you trying to see more? What is your straight up stance? I've never seen it.
Yeah, I mean it's nothing.
Let me see it. Stand up. Show me that stance.
That boy said, "Let me see it. Stand up. Show me that stance."
Show these people. This is how you stand. That has never happened in the history of football, man. Now, what are you going to do when you come to the NFL and somebody like Gruden says, "Nah, man, let's get
the Gruden grinder, John Gruden, ESPN
lower"? What is this?
I'm going to do the same thing because I rushed for 2,600 yards. So, if it was a problem, I feel like either way you can scan the defense. But I think the most important thing is being relaxed.
That boy Ashton stood on business, didn't he? I'm going to do the same thing because I had 2,600 rushing yards, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's standing on business, baby. Come on with it. Will Johnson injuries don't concern you. This is from Almost Legendary. Will Johnson, man. Oh, my God. We would have to do evaluations and send them over to team doctors and things like that. But to be fair, if there's a guy that you can draft that don't have injuries, do me a huge favor. Don't draft a hurt guy, I mean, we don't have the luxury right now. It'll be a different story if Tyler Guyton was world-class last season, right? And Mozzie been a world class the time that we drafted him, right? And et cetera, right? But we don't have that luxury of drafting a guy with hurt problems, not right now, because we don't make the necessary moves in free agency to do such, right? To take that little risk. Now, if Will somehow falls to the second round, then okay, now we can have a situation there, a conversation. But for the 12th pick, that's too rich, man. That's too rich, man. And it's just my thoughts. I could be 1,000,000% wrong, but I'm always going to take the guy that's healthy, right? Come on with it.
Hold on. You have a choice. You can have the boat or the mystery box.
What, are you crazy? We'll take the boat.
No, not so fast, Lois. A boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat. You know how much we've wanted one of those?
Yeah.
We'll take the box.
We'll take the box. You gave up a boat for 3 tickets to a crappy comedy club.
Come on, Lois.
This is the funniest part of the doggone cartoon right here. He said, hey, come on, remember that time?
You're acting like this is the first time I've ever done something stupid. You remember the time I was supposed to get that boat? A boat's a boat, but the mystery box could be anything. It could even be a boat. You know how much we've wanted one of those? We'll take the box.
Yeah, it's always funny, man, watching Family Guy. Like Travis Hunter with the questioning mark. Yeah, like Travis Hunter. Like, I'm so glad that we don't have to make that decision, right? I'm so glad. No, shoot, all of those playing both sides, both ways, there's law of diminishing rates of return on your knowledge base. Like, which one are you going to be, right? Now, there are some players that can play both sides like a Dion, but he's not giving me Dion speed, right? He's not giving me Dion wits. And Dion played both sides on the same field and then hit a home run in the World Series and came back, put the suit back on and got doggone, caught an INT and all of that stuff. So he was different. Bo Jackson, different, They tried to change the rules up with Ward. Who remember Ward back in the day? Played for Florida, I believe Florida. He played good quarterback. But shoot, let me go ahead and go to the NBA, But there are only a few players that can play on both sides and make an impact. I think Devin Hester, was it Devin Hester? What was he? He kickoff return specialist. But I think that he was more of a DB, and they still put him on some fly routes, right? So it's just only so much that you can do with those versatile players, and you're going to end up, Charlie Ward. Yeah, I couldn't think of his first name for anything in the world. Yeah, he was phenomenal. Probably would have been a better football player than what he was. You know, so it is for what it is. Who else? Allen Iverson, man. Shoot, Allen Iverson. Come on with it. Yeah, Allen Iverson, boy. What did he play? Running back or wide receiver? Had to be a running back, wasn't he? I don't think he was a quarterback. But Allen Iverson was a dog out there. Shoot. True story. He a Cowboy fan. So there's not that many people that can play. But Hester got touchdowns on kickoffs into the Super Bowl. Yeah, Hester was good. And he caught touchdowns on us too. Whenever he played against the Cowboys, they put him on a fly route, and yeah. Yeah, he thought he played quarterback? Nah. Safety, quarterback, okay. Boy, we got some histories of football knowledge in here. So 3rd round draft pick, the Cowboys off of the NFL.com went with Seth McLaughlin, center. I would say this. Is it Laughlin or Laughlin? However you say that man's last name. Could say Seth MacFarlane, right? It'd be a real Family Guy movement moment. But with that being said, when you think about all of this, Cowboy Nation, boy, they dropped off the cliff from going with Tet. They was on the right path. They went with Tet. They went with Travion, and then they went with the center, who will be questionable as the starter coming out of the 3rd round here, because you already got Cooper Beebe. Unless you're out on Brock Hoffman and you're out on Robert Jones and whoever else we might pick up and say, all right, we're going to slide Cooper Beebe at right guard and move Seth at center. And now you got a whole year to go through growing pains with that. Because the quarterback got to understand and learn another center exchange. It's a whole bunch of mess, right? And then you got to realize, is Cooper Beebe, I know he's a fast, quick learner, but will he be on the same page at right guard? So many things. I just don't like this pick right here. I'll go with an interior defensive tackle guy, right? Let me see who else went around this little area right here. T.J. Sanders was there. I would have been more satisfied with a T.J. Sanders. And Benjamin Morrison went right before us. Jack Sawyer went right before us. Yeah, I wouldn't like that right there. It's a bad pick, just for what it is. Yeah. All right. So of course we don't have a 4th round draft pick, but the 4th round draft pick went with a leak from the Panthers. We'll be watching the leak. Ayo Mayor, I just think to say his name. Alik Ayo, which is Ayo in Nigeria stands for joy, but Alik Ayo Mayor, I can't say that man's name. I'm trying to say it multiple times, but we will be looking at him versus Mingo. And the 41ers, they went and got Dylan Sampson. So that's the thing for them, right? So that's how valuable a 4th round draft pick is. It could literally be a starting player for you, right? Literally. Or somebody that can make some levels of impact. And then last but not least, our 5th round draft pick is somewhere around the weeds of a Tommy Hill, who was a hurt guy. He missed 6 games last season due to foot injury. So I don't know, but when healthy, he did look good when you look at his tape. But that will be where they select their cornerback in the 5th round. Let me know how y'all feel about those selections there. Elite not better than Mingo. Well, we'll find out, man. We'll find out. Yeah. He was the best open up the hole for Deuce. This is Cooper Beebe, right? Texas Martinez, I agree. With all of that being said, Cowboy Nation, what's up, Twin Empire? Where have you been? You got to get ready for the draft show we going to do, Twin. Yeah, I see you in the chat. Yeah. Yeah. Zaberle as well. Quite a few centers that can play multiple spots for depth, flex, right tackle combo for the next 5 years. Oh, I get it. You Luis Ortiz, you're looking at it from an offensive lineman spot positioning in the third round. Maybe here's my only thing. Here's my only thoughts about Seth in the third round, right? And Diggs going to the 40 Winers. I see you in there, twin. You better look him up. Edge rusher. Here's my only thoughts with Seth. In the third round, by us having so many holes, you would be expecting him to be a starter. I'm expecting out of this draft, and you're not going to get 10 starters. I'm expecting 2 and a possible out of these draft picks. Out of all of these draft picks, you only expecting 2 and a push. 2 and a push. So it's difficult to find 10 starters. And Seth may be good for 2027, 2028. But for 2025 and 2026, it's a reach for me to think that he's going to be that much of an impact. That's just my thoughts, right? But 2 in the push is what I'm looking for. Out of every good draft, you may end up getting 2 in a possible if your team is a real good drafting team. Yeah. And if you're bad, 2 in the push. Right? Some of y'all say, man, we going 5, man. We going 5 off the rip. We going blind 5, baby. That's what we need to do, Cowboy Nation. In order to catch up with the Washington and the Eagles, we going blind 5, y'all. Put them blind 5. Blind 6 in the mix. Come on with it. Let's go blind 7. Starters, I think you only get 2 starters, to be honest, is for Matt. Yeah. I mean, if you can find a draft where you can get, let me see what we did last year, because I talked about this before. Somebody got mad at me too. They're like, "Hey, how dare you?" And they didn't like the truth, so they want me to tell them comfortable lies, right? Let me see. All right, so we got BB. He's a starter. Mears Leofile, he was started by social promotion. Marshawn Nealon. He started for, all right, so this was our 2 starters. About 3 starters. We had him, that was a mess. Cooper, BB, he hit. And Carson, that was a mess. We had got 3, 4, 5. 5 starters, because 5 of these guys started at one point. Nealon, they put Nealon out there, Western Michigan. They started him, and he got hurt. Mears Leofile, they started him in a few games because we had no depths. But I'm telling y'all, you don't want these boys to start, because there's going to be a drop-off in production when they do, when you have that many, right? But I'm just looking for 2 and a possible. Yep. If this board was right? If this was right, let's say, for example, if we still had Tyron Smith, mixing in Tyler Guyton would have been okay, right? Just being real with y'all. If you didn't give all of your resources away and got so depleted and then only rotated Marshawn Nealon in, that would have been a plus for us. Cooper BB, I think that by playing offensive lineman, there's no chance and no rhyme or reason to rotate offensive linemen. They got to be in there for 60 plays a game. I think that was the best plus for us. But if the Cowboys really were true to themselves, they wouldn't have ever thought in their minds after week 1 to start Keelan Carson's. Right? So y'all give me what I'm getting at, right? Flanor didn't get a chance to see anything, Thomas, and they cut him and they brought him back, right? So that's how I'm looking at it. All right, Cowboy Nation. All right, I got about 10 minutes left to go, but what I want to do here, because I got a meeting that I got to be in, and normally we will give you guys a longer show, but it's Sunday, and I hope all is well with you all. Cowboy Nation, and I appreciate each and every last one of you all for tuning in. But before we rock on up out of here, give me your top 4 or your top 5 draft picks that you want to see in a Cowboys uniform, silver and blue, star on the side of their helmet, and let me know of those things as we depart, Cowboy Nation. I really appreciate y'all. There may be a situation that I go live a little later on tonight just to give y'all like a law cap on the things that I'm going to discuss with this meeting at the top of the next hour. So stay tuned, turn your notifications on, and there will be more and more content that's going to be delivered to you all on this beautiful day. But in departing, Cowboy Nation, one to another, do me a huge favor. Hit that like button. Share this content. Just to rehash what I talked about, Jack Jones for a cup of coffee, bring him in. Mike Hilton for a cup of coffee, let's see him. But the person that I really want to roll the red carpet out for is Asante Samuel Jr. Senior, you can just stay back. Stay back! I told you to stay back, Senior. We want the Junior. Far as running backs, yeah, Genty is my RB1, but I'm not going to fall asleep on a Marion, not the singer or the dancer. Hampton. Come on, chill, Mo D. Come on with it. Was it short pumps? These are quality pumps here. Yeah, the quality matters. Wide receiver wise, I like Ted. I think that he can be a difference maker with the silver and blue. I like Matthew Golden. But give me that Ohio State Ibuka over Golden. Right? Living my life like it's golden. And I like Travion Henderson. Right? But as long as we got a plan of action together and have a principle and a philosophy together, things will work its way into right situations. And I like Luther Burden too, y'all. You know. Oh, I see you, Ted Judkins, JJ, okay, Caleb, okay. I see you lost. Boy, y'all want some Judkins, boy. Come on with it. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around this beautiful globe, on this beautiful day, Mama said there will be days just like this. She said it. And you got to listen to the mamas, man. They be knowing. But she said, son, say that quote at the end. That's my favorite one. I got you. If you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad that you don't get time, and it makes you hold everything tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you will gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, or plan, to lose all terror of your mind, if you would simply, just simply go after the thing you want with all of your capacity, strength, sagacity, with faith, hope, confidence, and stern pertinacity. If neither cold or the poverty or the famine shall fame, or the sickness of body or brain can turn you away from the thing you want, if dogged and grim and besiege and beset, with the help of Almighty Cowboy Nation and everyone that's listening, you will get it. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. I guess I got a mental complex going. I can't leave without saying that. Give me my thing, you. Come on with it. All right. Boy, and I hope y'all got a mental complex too, you know what I'm saying? My day don't go well without listening to my homie Law Nation, baby. My day don't go good if I don't see y'all in these chats. Ain't it right, you got it? Sam, Matt, almost legendary. Come on with it. You got it. Angie, I see you. Gerard, y'all helping me out. See, the more I talk, the better I feel every day. Come on with it. Ain't that right, Dev K? Thompson, I see you with the 100s. Drop 100 in the chat if you like this episode. I wish I could stay longer. Turn to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you. Shout out to you, Brown, for the 50. I'm one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Come on. Put in my hours, send the invoice, and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ. Law Nation, let's roll, baby. I wake up, flex. Come on. Mama said, Law, you continue to rise. Shout out to you, Sadiq. Shout out to you, Brown, for the 20 stars. Come on. Come on, AI.
City to Charles, $10. Mama said I guess that's wrong. You continue rising.
Come on with it. I'm gonna try to rise all the way up to the heavens. Come on with it. Those London boys don't come to play, you should get worried. One false move, find yourself, they're getting buried. Dance with the devil, used to love playing those games. Come on. Made some bad decisions that brought my mama pain. I made a promise to her, swore that I would change. I'm on the come up, bet I live up to my name. Come on. I wake up, flex, thumb down that chick. No drip this, tell her run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell her run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down that check. No drip this, tell her run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell her run it up.